Hello Flosstube, this is Stephanie from Stitchinit, and I'm coming to you today with a WIP parade. I thought it would be a great chance to show you some of the things I've been working on for the past few years, and you might get a closer understanding of my personality or anybody whose WIPs you're looking at. So that's why I think they're great, and let's get started. I'm going to start with some of my oldest WIPs and my least active WIPs and move to the ones that I've been working on a lot recently. So some of these are borderline UFOs, but so far everything that I'm showing you I either have intentions to finish or may eventually become a UFO. I don't know. Okay, a UFO, unfinished object. My first couple of projects that I did were kits, and so that's mostly what I'm going to be showing you on my oldest WIPs. This is actually my oldest WIP that I've had, that's still in my WIP pile. I've had a couple of UFOs and I've had a couple of FFOs, but this is the oldest one that I have. This is Dimensions Indian Peacock Kit, and it's about 3 years old. And I've got, okay progress on it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it when I'm done with it, because I don't really like the fabric, as much as other choices that I have available now. But since it is my first project, I don't want to get rid of it, and I do like the picture a lot. So I'm planning to finish it sometime, but I haven't worked on it in a very long time. This is another kit. And it's not in my UFO pile for one reason. It's just so big. I don't know what's going to happen to this one. It was my first experiment in gridding, and I gridded the whole entire thing with sewing thread. Okay? And that's the whole entire picture. So it's a pretty big project. This is the finished design. It's a vase of flowers, and they're really, really beautiful. There's a better one on the back. But I'm having some problems, mostly with the fact that this is a chart. I don't think there's enough thread to complete the project, and I'm not happy. If you can see, I'm not entirely happy with the coverage, although I guess it does look okay on camera. That's another issue that I'm having with it. And the chart itself is starting to fall apart. The symbols are starting to rub off. I can't figure out what to do with it, so it may end up being a UFO just because the chart is falling apart. I don't know. But I do really like the picture, and that's why I haven't put it in a UFO file and recycled the fabric, because I do really like it. I love how it's on the black background with the gold and the pink flowers, but I'm not sure what's going to happen with the WIP itself. Okay, this is another kit that I'd like to finish up. It's actually a needlepoint kit. It's something really small I got at Hobby Lobby with dragonflies. I like dragonflies. So I've not gotten too much progress on this, and you may not even be able to see it because of the canvas is printed, of course. I've done all this on this side. The canvas is printed, and what makes it difficult, not only is it needlepoint, and I have never done needlepoint before, but some of the printing is not exactly, accurate, and so you get confused, and the pattern that came with it is not like a space for space pattern. It just kind of shows your colors, and then it puts a color on it that you're just supposed to know how to fill in. So that's one of the reasons that I haven't finished it, but I plan to, so it's still in the WIP pile. This I don't have all the pieces to it down here, but this is actually a kit that my grandmother, it was in her stuff, and it's a cross-stitch kit. It's a vintage reproduction sampler of the Chase by a Williamsburg person from the 1700s, and it is a kit, and it came with all the threads, but it's printed. It's a printed kit, which is one of the reasons that I don't work on it very much, but I do have intentions to finish it. I'll show you what I've done. I've just been working on this alphabet up here, but the rest of the kit, I wish I had I'll show the picture up here, but the whole thing, the reason I first so it was suggested to me to get another piece of fabric and just work it from the pattern and do the whole thing, because there's nothing wrong with it, but the top half is cross stitch, and it's all printed cross stitch, if you can see, so that's gonna kind of be a little bit, I mean, on the one hand I don't have to look at the pattern all the time, and on the other hand you have to be very, very precise with how you're putting these stitches in, so you don't leave any of the printed stuff showing. And it is kind of weird to have all of the decorations already there. This is all cross stitch, but once you get to the bottom half is all embroidery, and that's one of the reasons why I'm gonna try to keep it and work it on this fabric, because of all the embroidery on the bottom. It's already got the outline there, and it's going to make it a lot easier, I think. So on the bottom there's a scene with a stag and a dog chasing the stag, but that sampler is called The Chase. Okay, we're starting to move into more active WIPs. Some of these aren't that old, but I don't have much more to start on them. This is one, I'll show you this one. This is called Creation by Tempting Tangles, and this is, I would love to do this. I just love this piece. I think it's fantastic. It has the whole quote from the book of Genesis about the creation account on there, and it's got this beautiful just painting style. I love how it's got this big border here, but then the cross stitch stuff goes over the border and gives a really nice effect. This was my first time trying to stitch on linen, and also what I thought about this one was it's on raw linen, 32 count raw linen, which I started because I wanted it to look like an antique piece of you know, parchment style paper, like the style that she was talking about, that this was supposed to be one of those illuminated manuscript pages from like a Bible or something in the Middle Ages. And so I thought it would look good on raw linen. I don't have that much of a start on it, but it says in the beginning. That's all there is, but I definitely want to finish that one someday, so it's staying in the WIP pile for as long as possible, because a lot of my newer stuff is on PDF files, which I like better than the paper copies, but when I'm trying to share it with you guys. This is just a floral map of the the whole entire world that I'm working on. This is from Stitchline on Etsy, and I've made it through Africa and Europe and a lot of Asia. And it's a floral relief, you know, it's a floral pattern of the entire world, and it was really close. I started this one like before Mania this year. This was my last before Mania start. I don't know when I'll finish it. This is one I started last year. It's another kit, and I need to finish it up soon because it is supposed to be for some friends of ours. I was planning to give it as a gift. They're from Italy, and so this is a little View from Tuscany, the small one. It's another Dimensions kit. And what I was planning to do with it is actually, they were married in I think 1977 or 1978, and so I was going to stitch the date of their marriage and their name on the wine bottle. the pattern says it's some generic like chateau, blah, 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 you know, and this will really personalize it. And I really want to finish it this year, even though I have no desire to work on it whatsoever. It's getting, what I have problems with sometimes is getting towards the end and just getting bored with the ending part. It's much more exciting to work on a piece once it gets to the end. I don't know what my problem is. Okay, so this is the next thing I have, and I do have a picture of this. This is Stitchirovia's awesome cross stitch. This is one that I started in Mania this year, but I don't really have a reason to stitch on it, so it's not getting much attention. This is what I've worked on so far. So it's not a whole lot, and I don't really have any plans, so I don't know how long it'll be here either. Okay. And this is my Coffee Quaker sampler, which again, it's on 28 count, so it's kind of big. And this is all I've done on it so far, and I see so many people finish this, and I get really jealous. But if you don't work on something, Stephanie, it's not going to be finished. And I like it, but it's not one of the things that's driving me right now. So it's likely to stay like that for a while. This is one that I've got to finish. I was planning to do it for my mom. My very, very first one that I showed you, that peacock, that was supposed to be for her too. But again, I haven't worked on it like I should have. Oh, this is going to be pretty. Okay? I mean, it's really going to be pretty when it's done. And this is a picture of some irises for my parents. They just moved, and they lived in a neighborhood for 30 years that had irises a lot in it. So I'm going to give this to them as a moving piece for their new house, I guess, to remember. That's where, this is a picture of some irises, and it's almost finished. I mean, I've got to finish up this flower and then the greenery, and the details and the back stitching and the flowers. But I mean, it's almost finished, and it's not that big, so I really, really, really need to work on it and make some time for that. But I'm having so much fun working on other stuff. This is the biggest one for this year, and it's starting to suffer as well as I find other stuff to work on. But this is Hoity Toity by Long Dog Samplers, and I'm getting close to half of it, but this is the bottom half. I haven't put the other part of the year in here yet because I don't know if it's going to be 2017. It could easily be 2017 if I would sit down and work on this, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. So let me pick it up all the way to the bottom. That is the bottom down there. It's kind of close border wise, but I think it's going to be okay. It's going to have to be okay. What I'm concerned about is that it's going to be just as close on when I get to the top half. But I don't plan to get this framed. If you can see, because it has this black border that goes all the way around, I plan to finish it as a tapestry hanging, like with some fabric backing it and then just hanging, no glass or anything. So yeah, I need to work on that. That's when I started, in February or March, I can't remember. This is another one that I really need to work on because it's a present for my daughter. This is from a magazine. It's of an elephant. It's from Cross Stitch Gold. That's all I've done with it. It's originally a watercolor design, so it's got lots of bright colors, and I think it's going to be perfect birthday present for her if I could just finish it. It may have to be a Christmas present. These last few pieces are something that I'm really enjoying working on, and what I really am finding that I really like doing is full coverage pieces. Not necessarily big ones like Hades all the time, you know. I'm talking about smaller ones, less than 200 by 200 stitches or something like that. You know, this is a piece. I already have one Buddha on my wall, and I have another one half stitched, and plans to do some more Buddhas. My husband really likes Buddhas, and he'd like to see some more on our walls. So this is my latest one. It's called Blue Buddha. It's from Heritage Charts. But this other piece has like five skeins of this one color in there, and I've been experimenting with doing extreme cross-country stitching on this one. So this is all one color. I'm going through the whole entire chart and doing this one color first, and then I'm going to come back and fill in all the other colors. So it's pretty straightforward, you know. You can start to see the Buddha there, but I'm almost to the bottom on that one. And then it'll be a little bit more fun to start stitching in the other colors. But it's turning out really great, and I love it. Okay, I've got the last few WIPs that were kind of hard to pull together because I'm stitching on them. But this is one of my Heaven and Earth designs that I have, and it is a mini John Lennon. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Not really. And I'm getting closer and closer to a page finish. I mean, that's one of the things that's so hard about the Heaven and Earth designs, is it's just so much work. That's where I am on that. Let me see. Not much to show. But when I get tired of stitching on regular Heaven and Earth designs, I have, and I love this one. This is French Filigree by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I made some good headway on that. I don't have a picture of that one on here, but this one's stitched on 32 count linen in 310 and 309 of DMC threads. But that's from the middle of the pattern all the way up to the top of the pattern, and it's going to basically be a round repeated. That's going to take me a long time, but it's not full coverage, so it's okay. And my last two pieces are new additions to the WIP pile. This one, I had a friend gave me a piece of Hardanger that I wasn't sure. I didn't mention that the John Lennon piece is on 22 count Aida, and I've really fallen in love with 22 count since then. And so a friend gave me a piece of Hardanger, and I wanted to try it out on a full coverage piece. So I got this pattern. It's of a conure. I have two conures that I have lots of fun with them and love them a lot, so I wanted to stitch a picture of them. And this is where I am so far. This is on 22 count, and it's a full coverage piece, or at least of the bird itself, you know. And it's turning out bigger than I thought. Luckily, this page right here that I'm almost finished with, that's the only full coverage page that's in the pattern. The rest of them are just partial pages of the shape of the bird. So hopefully it won't take me too long. But again, I love the 22 count, the size. For one strand, it gives really good coverage, and it's, yeah, I love it. I'm going to be doing a lot of full coverage on 22 count in the future, I think. And my last WIP for today is my newest start, which is a Mirabilia, my one and only Mirabilia so far, and it's their newest mermaid, which is the Renaissance mermaid. And I'm still waiting for some of the specialty threads and stuff to come in, but I've started on her hair, and that's what it is so far. This is on hand-dyed fabrics from Black Cauldron Needleworks, I think it's called, in Hyacinth. And yeah, I specifically got one like this so I could start a mermaid. At first I wasn't saying I wasn't too interested in Mirabilias, but I did want to try one out. You know, I do want to try at least one of everything, you know, that I can, and see what I like. And then if I don't like it, then I won't, you know, I won't continue to stitch on it. But so those are all my projects that I have ready to work on at any time, and hopefully we'll have a finish sometime in the future for you. And I'm glad I got to show them to you, and I hope you saw something that you liked. But otherwise, some of them should be making an appearance back on my channel sometime in the future. And that's what I'm stitching on, and I hope you guys enjoyed the WIP parade, and I'll see you next time.